voices that may be softer than mine and hear where her Hebrew name comes from and whom we are honoring. Because when we give out Hebrew names, it's in honor of members of the family, and we'd like to know who they were to us in our lives and what is the meaning of continuing that name. I'm going to ask the following people to come forward, please, and stand right here in front of me. Jesse, Adams, Samantha, Doug, and Lisa.
I didn't hear the instructions. I was too busy talking.
Uh-oh. Coming behind you. Sorry.
That should have been 5 of you. And Brian. Brian.
I'm going to set my hair up.
Upcoming.
Got it? Okay, now,
Lord.
if each of you now can come forward, take a candle, and make a row of 3 on each side. There are 6 candles lit. Each of you carefully take a candle.
And Judy is supposed to be part of this.
Right in the way. Thank you.
Abby didn't. These are coming.
You
This is-
comfortable?
Okay. These are
Okay.
gonna Milton, I mean,
Got it?
these are gonna drift.
No, that's the reason. If you keep it in the candle holder, that'll make it easier.
Okay, yes.
Right now, if you could be on each side, if you could just step back on each side here. Okay, you got it, guys? I left them in the candle holder. The candle holder. There we go. Okay, good.
He's got a candle that doesn't have a
We're okay. Okay?
You get one hand together.
Yeah. All right, good people, if you could just step out, if you could be 3 on each side.
Take 3 days.
Okay? I assume you can all hear me, okay? Fine. Okay, 3 on each side. You gotta get a count right here.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Oh, here?
Got it. 3, got it.
Special children with
We
special
now would like to welcome
needs.
Wynne, who has a secular name, but we want to give her her religious name for all religious purposes. We look forward to a bat mitzvah, most importantly, to a wedding, when she will use her Hebrew name.
Ben just fainted.
I ask if Wynne and her parents can come forward.
When he's really tired.
Brucha haba'ah. Blessed is a child who comes into our presence and the presence of God. We ask 6 candles to be lit for the 6 days of creation. He who shines through like the dawn, blessed as the moon, radiant as the sun. Dear Wynne, may you always be as beautiful as you are, as the gorgeousness of the moon. May you always radiate light as the sun. We pray as she grows, may we have the privilege of helping her grow in understanding and be an example to her of caring and loving with a sense of self-esteem and respect for others. May she learn words of Torah and the performance of good deeds as she will become a member of the Jewish people of Klal Yisrael. We give her her Hebrew name, Kumi Ori. Arise, dear Wynne, shine, and may God's radiance be upon you.
Okay.
As you face the candles, so you face the light. Light was the first of God's creations. As light appeared, It brought with it the potential for wondrous things to follow. Today we also kindled light of hope, of understanding, of celebration, of countless new possibilities. This little girl, dear Wynne, with whom we have been blessed, has already brought light into our eyes. May God's radiance shine upon all those who care for her, and may she be a source of light to all around her. As we now give her her Hebrew name. She is named in Hebrew Dina Nisia Bat Yaakov Sar Ve'elisheva Bracha. Her name shall be Dina Nisia, her first and middle names. She is the daughter of Yaakov Sar and Elisheva Bracha. May she enjoy a life filled with learning of Torah. May she in turn have a wonderful chuppah, a happy marriage, and a life of ma'asim tovim, of good deeds. So let me pause at this moment only for a couple of seconds to remind everyone that the wedding was not in such a formal setting. Not only that, but in order to make sure the wedding site was not washed away, I was there last week to be sure the dune was there, the water was there, and she'll be able to go and see where her parents wed, jump up and down with her little pail, and make her sand piles to be sure that she will always remember the place of marriage. And now I call upon those who will describe the names of the child, beginning with the mother.
No, we're gonna begin with the father.
I thought Ben will introduce you.
Should we maybe have everyone sit a little so everyone can be a part of it?
Oh, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
You can blow out the candles, that's fine.
We can blow it out.
No.
No.
Ben will introduce Karen, but let's be at a place where we can all hear.
Okay.
You got a voice?
I'm sorry.
And then I can have a minute and get Winnie
Here,
to sit up all over it.
No, it's okay. You're saying Sophia.
Or wherever, you can stand right there, against that wall.
Abby, do you want me to?
Because it's gonna go meet at men's house.
I got the list.
Okay.
We have two more, right? No. So I just passed it out.
I'm trying to get not in the middle of it.
Okay.
Everyone, please. We have a husband and father to begin.
Well, thank you everyone for coming to this really special occasion. It feels like just a year ago when the rabbi was, marrying us and telling us to have kids. And
We listened to him.
has the time flown by. We wanted to talk about kind of why we named Wynne what we did, and even her giving her a traditional name was quite a process. We had a Google document with 45 names that was constantly being edited. We went to the hospital with 12 names and came out with a name that we had never seen before. But we knew that there were some very important people that we wanted to name her after. And for her Hebrew name, it's Dina Nisia. Abby will talk kind of more about her grandma Dee.
Well, so why don't I give my iPhone? I had to write it on my iPhone because I was nervous about saying all the right things. But I wanted to thank everyone for being here. And sure, you can hold her. Or Jessica. Or Ben can hold her. She has spit up all over her. And thank you to my parents for putting on this wonderful brunch. And I'd always said I wanted to do something to welcome Wynne into this community of people because you all are so important to me and to Ben and to Linda and Andrew for making such wonderful food, and Mama also, and for being a part of it. So I put together a little story for Wynne. I hope that's appropriate and that we don't take up too much of your time. So, dear Wynne, I thought it would be appropriate to begin today with a story. It was 100 degrees and I was 9 months pregnant with you. And out of all of the things we might have chosen to do, I felt like going on an adventure, one of my favorite things to do, to somewhere outside the city to explore. Somehow we chose Coney Island, which, despite the Nathan hot dogs, was a crazy idea. Even poor Ollie had to be held. His feet were too hot on the burning hot concrete. As we drove along the street, taking in the sights near Brighton Beach, it dawned on me that maybe you weren't coming out because you were like me, afraid of new situations. So I realized I should try to make you less afraid by telling you a little bit about the life you were coming into. I started telling you all of the people who love you and the life you already have, and that you have nothing to be afraid of. The people I was telling you about are mostly all here today. I told you about your family, your wonderful grandparents, and how much they were going to love you. I told you about your aunts and uncles, Doug and Lisa, Adam and Samantha, Lisa and Scott. That crazy Aunt Jessie was going to make you laugh and smile so much. I told you about your first cousins, Rachel and Belle and Tori and Julia and Taylor and Cameron and Ethan, and we have a lot of them. I told you about your puppy dog, Ollie, who you were going to have to show off to all of your friends someday. I told you about your life in New York, your friends you already had but hadn't even met yet. I told you how you had a beach house, homes in Washington, that you were always going to eat such good food at Mama and Papa's and Linda and Andrew's and Karen and Milton's. I told you how lucky you were. I told you how lucky you were that your mom and dad were going to always protect you, that we would love you more than I could describe, and that there was so much for you to look forward to, that you could feel comfortable to finally come out, and that it was going to be okay. You waited a few more days and finally came out in your own time. It's amazing to have so many friends and family in one room here today to celebrate Wynne and to be here for her Hebrew naming. It's especially incredible to have Wynne's great-grandparents, Faye and Lori Goodwin, here, present in so many ways. And we wish that Grandma Helen could be here too, and we're thinking of her. You haven't met her yet, but you will. Wynne is being named for her great-grandmother, Grandma Dee, who many of you knew. There is no one who remembers Grandma Dee who doesn't smile nostalgically and say something along the lines of she was the most wonderful person, kind, caring, supportive, a wonderful, wonderful person who never had a mean thing to say about anyone, who cherished family, made delicious cookies and rugula, was a loving mother and grandmother, and who simply had such a good heart. It's all of these qualities that I believe are in you, passed down from Grandma Dee, but also from the family you have surrounding you today. I know you will be a beautiful, sweet, wonderful little girl. We hope you will be an asker of questions, a smart, respectful, kind, caring, and generous person who treats people with a sense of empathy and who keeps a special eye out for those who are less fortunate. I hope that your dad and I give you the wonderful life that our families have given to us. Your grandparents, Karen and Milton, are about to celebrate their 40th wedding anniversary. Ooh. They have instilled in me a sense of how sacred family and friends, community, and traditions are, and they have showed me that being generous and supportive are not things to do, but ways to live. Your grandma Gigi has dedicated her life to helping those with special needs. I feel lucky to teach you all they have taught us, and both Ben and I feel so lucky to have such wonderful role models in all of your great and great-grandparents. Am I going too long? I have a little bit more to say. No. Your dad and I hope you always find happiness. We hope you continue to look at the world the way you do now, eyes wide open, with a look of wonder and possibility. We hope you will be a good friend, a loving daughter, an inquisitive student, and a good big sister someday. We hope you always try to help others. We hope you take on life's challenges with strength, not letting disappointments in life mean that your life is disappointing. And lastly, we hope you always maintain a sense of adventure and enjoy finding the pleasures in things just like your mom and dad do, even though they might be scary at first. but that you always, always do things your own way and in your own time.